and welcome to another edition of Day Drinking with Kevin. As we enter this holiday season, I began to think to myself, I think there's a lot of people out there that might be committing some wine faux pas. So in this episode, we're going to talk about the common mistakes people make when drinking wine. The number one mistake I see when people are drinking wine is serving white wine too cold and red wine too warm. Let's face it, when you come home from a hard day at work, you go to the refrigerator, you open it up, you pull out your bottle of white wine, you pour it in your glass, and you notice the aromas are muted, or the flavors don't come out as crisp as you're expecting them to. Well, the simple reason is because refrigerators are usually set at 40 degrees or a little bit lower, and therefore that cold kind of mutes those flavors and aromas. The optimum serving temperature for, say, a fruity white wine like a New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc is between 45 and 50 degrees, with the fuller-bodied white wines like Chardonnay served between 55 and 60. The simple solution here is to take that white wine out of the refrigerator and let it sit for about 15 or 20 minutes, raising the temperature a little bit. By doing so, you're going to open up those aromas and flavors and ultimately open up the enjoyment of drinking that bottle of white wine. On the other side of the fence, we have red wines being served too warm. A warm red wine can come across tasting a little bit more alcoholic than it really is, and that's exacerbated by something like a California Cabernet that is already high in alcohol to begin with. The proper serving temperature for a red wine is between 58 and 61 degrees for those light, fruity red wines, and 61 to 65 degrees for those bigger, bolder, fuller red wines like Nebbiolos and Petit Syrahs. Here's a simple solution. Take your bottle, put it in the refrigerator for 10 to 15 minutes, and bring that temperature down to that proper serving temperature. This will reduce the taste of the alcohol in the wine, bring out the fruits and the aromas, and ultimately enhance your experience with drinking that red wine. The next most common mistake I see when people are drinking wine is filling their glass too full. Again, if you've got that hard day, it's really easy to put as much wine as you can into that glass so that you only have to get up once. But the reality is, you're not going to be able to enjoy that wine nearly as much. The proper way to fill a wine glass is right up to the widest part of the bowl. This way you can swirl the wine, aerating the esters, and really give it a chance to open up, smell those aromas, and maximize your enjoyment of the wine. So remember, don't fill your glass all the way up to the top. Fill it properly and you're going to have a better experience when drinking wine. People may disagree with me, but another common mistake people make when drinking wine is not trying new grape varietals. If you always drink Cabernet Sauvignon or you always drink Chardonnay, you're missing out on hundreds, if not thousands of new experiences that might awaken your palate in ways you've never thought of. So go out on the limb and try a Gewürztraminer from Alsace, or a Pinotage from South Africa, or a Malbec from Argentina, or a wine from Greece, or Hungary, or Austria. They all offer unique taste experiences and aromas that you may have never tried before. And I know when people come to the wine house, they're constantly challenging me to give them new grape varietals. In fact, last week we had a Kerner and it sold out in a matter of minutes. So remember, try new grape varietals and increase your experience when drinking wine. Another mistake people make when drinking wine is assuming that all wines have to be expensive to be good. Well, let's face it, there are a lot of advertisements out there that kind of imply that the more expensive something is, the better it's going to be. And there are certainly some wines in the $100 to $200 to $300 range that are amazing. But there is equal number of wines in the $15 to $30 range that do the trick as well. So looking for wines that provide value, like say from Sicily or from Spain, will really go a long way to helping you enjoy wine without breaking the budget. So remember, not all wines have to be expensive to be good. Finally, the next most common mistake I see people make is holding the wine glass incorrectly. When you grab a wine glass like this, cupping the bowl, or grab it like this, what you're doing is warming up the wine. And as we learned earlier, warming up the wine does not necessarily make it taste better. In this case, it would taste more alcoholic. So we have the stem on the wine glass to allow us to be able to hold the glass without warming up the wine. The other reason we don't hold the bowl is our hands are the most common transfer of smells that we've encountered during the day. For example, when we wash our hands with that florally soap in the bathroom, it's going to transfer itself to the bowl of the glass. So therefore, when we're smelling the wine, what we're going to smell is the florally soap we just used. So by holding the wine by the stem, we have less of the possibility of transferring anything that was on our hands to the smell of the wine. So remember, holding the wine glass properly is a very important part of enjoying your wine experience. Well, I hope you enjoyed my episode on the common mistakes people make when drinking wine. If you have any comments, please leave them below, and consider subscribing to Day Drinking with Kevin. And if you have ideas for future episodes, please leave them in the comments, and I'll be happy to get to them. Until next time, this is Kevin McGuire, wishing you and your family a safe and happy holiday season. Salute.